People bring my stuff, and it will bring yours. All right, let's see here. So I guess we need a motion to come out of executive session.
I'm going to come out of executive session. Second.
All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are out of executive session, therefore you can all see us. All right, so, communications.
Okay.
Well, you have to approve the agenda first, don't we?
Actually, no, that says number 6, after the communications.
Okay, so I did include the letter to the editor in August, just so you were aware of it, in case you didn't see it, and if anyone contacted you about it. We got a very nice thank you note to Katie from the Kinston School District, because we had the administration do their retreat at the new Baker's building, and they enjoyed it very much. And I included the request for us to say we don't dispute someone going out for a liquor permit. So I just included it so you're aware of it, because I signed it and said we don't dispute their desire for a liquor permit. What?
Have we ever cleared? No.
No, but I included it so you knew about
Just so
it.
you know.
Okay, you don't need us to make a vote on it.
You don't need to do anything, I'm just including it for informational purposes.
We've been aware in the past occasionally if something has been going on near a library, but we've never.
And I think this is just because it's a new owner or.
This is like a new theater group in the theater,
Yeah,
maybe?
and I don't recognize
It was
one of the
one.
previously, it's just been.
Yeah, the previous group could serve alcohol, and then this group also wants to serve alcohol.
Yeah.
And that is.
Theater is always more fun with booze. I'm not wrong.
And that is the communication.
Okay, now we need to approve an approval of the agenda. Is there anything we need to add to it? Or is everything on?
No amendment.
I move to approve the agenda.
Seven.
Well, you two are just doing everything.
Well, you know.
All right, all in favor of the approval of the agenda? All right, any opposed? We have us an agenda. That brings us to fiscal office.
Okay, I need approval of the disbursements and gifts for August. And I did add in the gifts, there was a few things that came from the friends I didn't have a value, but I just thought you would want to know what they had done.
Oh,
What the gifts
picnic
were.
tables, benches.
Right.
Got it.
And then they planted some bulbs for landscaping and here did some nice, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that here? Yeah.
Yeah, the bulbs were here.
So we'll see in the spring.
I move the approval of the disbursements and gifts.
No, sir.
All right, and roll call, that's money.
Kristen? Yes. Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yeah.
Right, and then I need approval for amendment to the credit card use. We're required to have the limit in there, and I want to change the limit on the one that's used to pay our vendors online, because that will increase the amount of money, the cash back that we get.
Yeah, we've switched to doing a lot of it that way.
As much as we can. And there's only a couple that will actually take it, that makes it worth it. But Ingram,
And
Makes it
45,000 is what you're,
45,000, right?
okay.
Move the approval of amended policy 380.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Kristen?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
And then I'm asking for approval of the amended policy by 10 hours of service, it's just to reflect what they actually are. For some reason, I think Middlefield was, way long, it had never been on Saturdays. Yeah, so I don't know what happened.
Wow.
So, it's just to reflect that.
Move the approval of amended policy 510.
And I second that.
All right, roll call.
Kristen?
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kate.
Yes. All right, and then I need approval of the natural gas supplier contract. That was for, the new Bainbridge building. For some reason, when they couldn't transfer the contract when we built the new building. They transferred the electric contract, but not the gas. So we had to wait a year, so we've been paying a lot more for gas at Bainbridge, and this will get them on the contract, which will lower the cost per unit.
Oh, I move to do that.
Save money, okay.
Yeah. Second.
All right, and a roll call for that.
Kristen, yes. Josh,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Kate.
Yes. Okay, and then the only other thing in my report is just the budget hearing update. I think we talked to each of you individually about what happened, so you had since it happened right after our last board meeting. I did get the paperwork today. They did reduce our revenue by 600,000.
What year is that for?
It's collection next year.
Fine.
So you should see that big savings in your bill.
I'm sure it
I'm
was.
just interested in,
I'm sure it was a very large amount.
I'll be interested in knowing. And like I said, it's something that the library can handle, it's fine. It didn't really follow the timing or the amount that we had talked about. But it could have, I mean, if we had looked at it at the end of the year, it could be that we would have offered another 300,000 anyhow. They just took it all in 1 year.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, we've gotten some information about how they want things done. They did try to apply a revised code to us that does not apply to libraries, and I sent them that information. But I have no problem using it as a best practice. I think it's a good idea. Talk to Patrick about it, getting somebody in and saying, in the next 10 years, what is our replacement cost on all of our buildings? So that's what we're working toward doing that. And then an actual cost. We had a cost for Chardon to build a new building from Van Dyke way back when we did the original. And so I'm also going to ask them to update that.
Yeah, it's probably unrealistic at this point, because that was,
Right, it was,
years.
yeah. Right, and so I believe, I haven't gotten a proposal back for the reserve accounts, but I believe what's included is, an inflation. So, if it's going to take us 10 years to save that, which I think is realistic, then they will include an inflation cost right now. So we'll have a good basis for the next budget year.
The approval of natural gas supplier contract.
I think we did it.
Did we?
Yep.
We did that.
What did we
I'm
do?
talking about the budget.
Oh, all right. You need approval of that?
No, it's just an update, unless you guys,
I mean, yeah, are
Want
we
more?
planning on taking the commission to court? I don't,
appealing it,
Yeah.
I would not recommend it. I don't really think we have a basis for appeal. Is that,
yeah, I don't think we'd actually win.
yeah, and I think that, yeah, I don't think we
It
can
is-
come out.
To be honest with you, this whole thing very, very, very much irritates me because we tried to be as fiscally responsible as we could this past year through all this because we knew we wanted to save money towards the Chardon thing. And they never made a deal out of it the way they had this year, so we thought we were fine.
Right.
And then they just hit us with this all of a sudden. Had they warned us a year ago, there was things we could have done to protect this
We
money.
could have done the reserve accounts last year or
Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
So the fact that they, in my opinion, somewhat blindsided us on what they were going to do, I know they don't think they did, and, but it still just irritates me because we could have had quite a bit more money to put towards a big Chardon renovation, and now we don't. Yeah, it's not gonna stop us from being able to run the library, but that wasn't what I was counting that money for.
That's, well, I think we were all under the assumption that that was going toward,
So,
that we talked about.
I mean,
Yep.
would I love to appeal it and win and keep that money? Yeah, I don't think we will.
Yeah.
I don't think we would win it. And just make us look bad, I think we tried.
There was I don't know if it came from the board, but do they have the right to do that? And they did. So,
They do. at any
yeah,
point.
that's their job, is to assess need, and that's what they did.
And yet I think they're wrong. But-
Again, we're all, we
Obviously.
have, yeah, you have different opinions from them, so I think we're just coming at it from two different
Oh, sure.
perspectives.
And of course, we would look at it from our viewpoint, they look at it from theirs. Of course, I think ours is right.
But I would not recommend this feeling that I don't think it would,
I don't think it will make us any friends.
no, that,
Certainly will make us more enemies, and we don't want to be on that side.
Right.
You know,
and
we
I
want to
think
keep it calm.
going forward, I think we could have a very good working relationship with Doug Walder.
The new
So I
one.
think, the newer auditor, so I think you can really, work with him and make sure we're
Yeah, no, I
presenting it
think
in a way
it's
that
your
they understand.
advantage to keep the lines open.
Right,
And to have a working relationship with them so that they do better understand.
right.
Because my feeling is, well, they know how to run townships, they do not know anything about libraries. Nor have they ever learned.
To be honest, in the state, libraries are very odd as to what applies to them and what doesn't. And as he said, there's only 2 libraries in the county. So,
They don't much.
and he's very open, I think, to, if I can show him the information
Right.
to take that. And
Yeah, I think if you're the point for the education and you have a good working relationship, then we will follow. Yeah,
Right.
and that's where we want to be.
Yeah, we need to keep the communication. Yep, I agree. Okay, that's all.
All right, that brings us to system director's report.
Okay, I am requesting, approval for tuition reimbursement
Can you
for.
speak a little louder, please?
Yes, sorry. I'm requesting approval for tuition reimbursement for Eli Millet as presented in the board packet.
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Kristen?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Okay. In addition to my report, we just found out about a day ago that Thompson Library Branch won an architectural award, the 2021 Aspire Award. I don't have any additional information about what this award is. We just got the information from our architect, Perkins and Will. So I'll include some more information as we get it in your weekly updates. Last month you signed, or you approved the Meritech contract, and there was a problem with the equipment that they delivered. We were not able to fax the way that they had promised us, and we weren't able to scan to email the way that they had presented it would. So we went back and negotiated with them, and we were able to get additional hardware at no additional cost. So there's no change to the actual monetary issues in the contract, but I just wanted to let you know that we did renegotiate it, and I have copies here if you want to see it. And they did do what Mike asked them to do. So
They came track, but it also,
yes. We were surprised with their solution, and we were very happy with it. I met with the Newberry Township Committee, or the Committee for the Newberry Township, answered some of our questions regarding the space there, and I'm recommending the Ad hoc Facilities Committee meet to discuss that further, some options, or some ideas where the board wants to go with this. And I believe we scheduled that for October 5th.
You know, we have room on the ad hoc facilities committee for another person.
Right.
All right, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Just putting it out there, that's all, just making
You know,
it.
before we leave today, Chris, let's look at all of them real quick. And
Okay, sure.
For some people that
Okay.
do it.
I did want to highlight that the Inspiration Station has trained over 400 patrons. We've only been open since June.
And we're up to over 500 as of today.
Oh, we're up to over 500 as of today, and we have 17 master makers. Those are people who train on every single machine. Statewide delivery, which we've been talking about quite a bit, has improved. We're not back to where we want to be, but we are making slow improvements. When I was at the NEO-RLS meeting today, the board meeting, everyone is seeing improvements, and we feel good about the direction that statewide delivery is moving. And that is all I have, in addition to my report.
But EV charging stations, I mean, is actually gonna happen, or is it just another step along?
I think it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
They haven't come out yet to do the site. If
Okay, so
they
they're
find
after
a
this.
problem in the site visit, then it may change.
Okay.
But we
That's
have,
my understanding.
yes,
We
we
don't have a
start
whole lot of
collecting the
information.
paperwork, and we are going to have the site visit. And the way they presented it, if you're on that site visit list, it's pretty much,
Yeah.
you're
Okay.
approved to have the station.
That's very
Right,
cool.
unless,
We just have to make it work.
if they go in and they're like, we can't even get into this, then, no, we wouldn't, but, yeah, it looks like it's going forward.
I would think the proximity from the freeway would be a big.
I think that was the reason they picked that, because did they originally have, I think they originally had Chardon
Yeah, they originally had.
on it, and we're like, there's no room in Chardon for it. And we offered the ad center, because we thought that would be, but they liked the proximity in Thompson.
All right, and let's see. Is that everything for you?
Yes, that's
All
everything.
good? All right, brings us to human resources.
Human resources, actions, approval is needed. We had 4 new hires, 1 promotion, and 2 resignations. So approval is needed for the HR action.
I move we approve the HR.
Second?
All right, and roll call.
Kristen?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Is that it for this? That was easy.
Yeah.
All right. Local manager report.
All right, here at John West, we've been working on raising the quality of the collection. So we've had a huge library-wide weeding project going on. In the midst of that, we performed an inventory of the whole building. We found probably around 200 items that were no longer in the catalog. So we're reconciling a lot of those items and sending them to Marlene when they need put back in the catalog. Our staff's really excited to start in-person programming. We had story time last week and had really good attendance for that. So, and we have a septic tank program after the board meeting, if anybody's interested, which has people attending. So, we're really excited about that. And we had our new art rail installed in here and in the bond area over there. And the study rooms are really getting used quite a lot. So that's been something from the renovation that's really been used.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Committee reports. Do you have any committee reports?
No.
Okay. Unfinished business, oh, we gotta approve
Yes.
the actual severance agreement between the board and our former director. He's in a severed state, and both legally speaking, so not fully former, but close enough. So does anybody have any questions over the agreement? It should have been in your package. Any questions or concerns about it? I know we went over one before, but
What's the payments and considerations? You had following the termination of employees' employment. Do we have a date on that?
It's listed at the top.
So it's not here.
It's not,
It's basically once he was severed, because then
Oh.
we severed him and.
yeah, we have to cover that, like, yes, the one that he signed and I signed does have a date on it. And I forget what the date
Yeah.
was, but it was
But
the
it
date
just,
that I
they
got.
continue after he's no longer active.
Yeah, and so basically, this will just cover him through the end of the year, and then that'll be that. So,
So what do we do? We
Need to approve it.
just need approval,
Make a
so.
motion, we approve the settlement agreement and release with Ed Warsaw.
Second,
Second.
all right, and roll call.
Kristen?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes. It was the ninth. We met with them on the ninth.
Okay, so that's what's on this, the one I signed, that's just a copy that has the date blank, because that's what the original was. Okay, all right, that brings us to new business, let's see. Yes, change orders, everybody loves change.
These are good change orders.
It is, it's very positive.
Yes, these are negative
Change
numbers. This is the most thrilling change ever. This is finally finishing out the renovations, Diablo West and Middlefield, and they are returning contingency money to the library. So they did not use all of it.
All right,
So I recommend you approve that.
I do too. I move.
Accepting.
And I second it.
Okay.
all right, and money, so roll call.
Kristen?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Okay, and then it looks like we've got some operating policy, 731, just changing some information about loan,
We added the terminology for the hotspots because we're gonna start circulating hotspots. We just had to add hotspots.
Right.
works for me.
I move the approval of policy 731 through 765.
I'll second that.
All right. And roll call.
Kristen?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Okay, and then the agreement that Patrick set up for us with Cummings to take care of our generator, is that right? All
Just
right,
like the one at the administrative center, but this is for the Bainbridge Library.
okay. That sounds pretty good to me, that's a 5-year one, right? Yes, 5 years. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Patrick? All right, just need a motion to approve.
I'm sorry, were you waiting for this?
Somebody?
I'm okay. You've been doing it all night.
I'll move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second.
There you go. We're murmuring over here, sorry.
Roll call, please.
Kristen? Yes. Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
All right, and the discard list.
I move to discard list.
Second.
All right, and roll call.
Kristen?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Was this about a materials selection policy?
That's just under board development, there are no changes to it, I just included it, it's, something that, can be helpful to reference every once in a while, especially when we have letters to the editor like we did, last month, just so you can refamiliarize yourself with it. We strive to provide information representing all points of view, and then these are ALA guidelines for all public libraries and the Library Bill of Rights. So that's the only reason I included it. There's no changes to the policy. I just, periodically it's good to go back to the policies and just remember why we, do what we do.
And that there is procedure if somebody objects.
There are procedures to challenge materials and programs.
I didn't even know that till we were talking about it, within this last month. So how long have I been on this board?
Were you here when Green Day, you had a challenge to Green Day, had a challenge to Madonna's book?
I know, I mean, this
Oh,
is.
maybe
really-
not.
Well, more recently, since I've
And
been
no,
here,
that was right at the beginning. And half the time, she nobody like that.
yeah, we had a challenge to a Stuart Woods book, probably about 8 years ago. So it happens every so often,
Yeah,
and then, but it's not often enough to remember, you know, all of the policies and procedures behind it.
Right,
So that's why I included it.
yeah, okay, good.
We don't get many.
No,
No. And we do listen to them all, just to fill you in history-wise, Green Day, when they first started up, their lyrics on a particular song was, I have to say, they were pretty bad. But we all listened to it, and we all said, well, okay, just don't borrow the Green Day album. And, I mean, it wasn't something you can't censor that.
Well, but we can't censor anything anyway,
No.
we're not government. We're not
No,
government, so-
then we're not going to censor. We have to put a parent's role, guardian's role, that's not our role.
Well, it's not, I don't know. Censorship is really about government, shutting something down
Right.
from publication.
So
Which
it's
isn't
not us.
something we have public, we just don't have that kind of power anyhow.
But we are willing to listen, if someone wants to challenge, and we've had 3 or 4 that I can remember. I don't think we've ever, we found, maybe one we went with, because the book fell apart. It was Madonna's book that she came out with, and it fell apart when we took it out of the box, so we didn't go with it. So that one didn't make it through. But everything else that's been challenged, I think, is pretty much gone through.
Well, one thing that Raymond taught me, your predecessor, is the legal phrase in loco parentis, which means we cannot be your kid's parent.
Right.
So if you don't like your kid seeing something, that's fine. There's lots of things I don't want my kids to see, but it's my job to stop them from seeing it. And so, you know, we have to be very careful not to try and step into a role that's not our role to be in.
Yes, yes, but if I'm gonna take my kids to the library, I'm really past that, but I always take my kids to the library. I'm living with my kids
Mhm.
and meeting their friends. And they do have concerns about taking their friends, their kids to the library and encountering, materials that they would not take out. But if they let their teenage kids go to the library alone and their kids take this stuff out and they don't know, they consider that we should have some care.
No.
I get it.
Oh, I get you.
I agree with you. I get what you're
I
saying.
know, the predisposition to free speech is totally there. And yet, if we expect our taxpayers to support the library, this is something we need to be aware of and be careful of.
Right, that's all. And I think, parents need to take responsibility.
They do, but they do. I mean, I took
Right, if you're gonna let
responsibility
your
for my
kid go to the
children.
library, then you have to take the responsibility for what the child checks out. It's not my job to tell them they can't take the book.
I have to tell you, though, in the late 1980s probably, my oldest son was like 13 years old. And he was at the library with his friends, and I got a call from the lady at the circulation desk saying, your son is taking, and I don't even remember what the book was. And I said, is it concerning? And she said, it's not material you would let him take out. I was extremely grateful that she would call me. And I said, yes, no, don't put that on his card. I was grateful, totally grateful, and I would, I hope that the library continues doing that for people, if they know that. So,
The fine line.
it is a fine line, but I mean, seriously, I was there all the time. They knew me, they knew what I allowed and what I did not allow.
Well, I think that's what blurs that line in the favor of doing that, is because that librarian had a personal
Yes.
level of relationship with you, and you knew kind of what you wanted
The
to do.
librarians knew me, I'll tell you
Because
that.
I can very freely admit that what I find objectionable for my kids is probably very different than what you would find objectionable
That's
for your
right.
kid. And the other spectrum, there's people who let their kids look at things, I'd be like, what are you letting them look at?
That's right.
And because there's such a wide range, it's something I'm very, very leery for the library as a whole.
Well, we have to be, don't we? I mean, we have to
Yeah.
err on the side of free speech.
Because just like you said, there's gonna be folks that, that we wanna keep on our side for levies and support and everything. We don't wanna upset them by having things that they think are objectionable. At the same time, there's somebody on this end of the spectrum who's gonna be like, if you don't let us have this, I find that extremely objectionable. We're gonna lose that. So That's why I try to stay, I don't even want to get involved. You parent your kid, and if you want them to see that, then you let them see that. If you don't want them to see that, you don't let them see that. And we're just gonna have stuff in the library, and we're not gonna default. That's my default position.
We don't buy everything.
No, we
We
don't.
can't, we can't buy it.
We don't, and we have these standards that we use,
Yes.
and we
There's
need to be really
standards.
careful, yes.
And if we make a mistake and we get something and, you know, we find, and somebody points out that it doesn't meet our own standards, we'll pull it back, absolutely.
Yep.
And we're human, and mistakes can be made. I don't think we've ever made any, but mistakes can be made.
Well, and that's the whole point of having a policy.
Yeah.
Right, because it explains the library position.
And I like that we have procedures to handle this situation. It's not just like willy-nilly, okay, I'm gonna ignore you this time. No, we have a way we're gonna do this, and we're gonna step through that procedure to do it the correct way. All right. I think we beat that horse. Yeah, so let's move on to the foundation. There she is, right?
So, we had a successful Geauga County Fair book sale, under our leadership of our new, she's a wonderful book sale, committee chair, Gloria Brock. So she did her first year of doing the fair book sale, and we raised, $6,500, which was right where our target was. We made that a couple years ago. And, we had 21 volunteers come out and work with us that weekend. And we had 9 newly recruited volunteers that engaged with us for the first time, and they were coming back and wanting more, and they love it and everything else. So that was also a big plus. A week from Saturday, October 2nd, we're doing our Party with the Partners event, which is to celebrate the launch of our volunteer organization, the Partners of the Geauga County Library Foundation. We'll be doing an 11 to 2 o'clock afternoon thing at the Ad Center with food and music and family entertainment and popcorn and snow cones. And the goal is to create awareness about the organization and to get people to sign up. And if you sign up on that day to become a partner, you will get a free Geauga County Public Library t-shirt that you can wear, hopefully when you're volunteering at your next book sale or whatever event that we'll be doing. So just on that day. We'll also be having some volunteers in each of the branches on that day to help sign people up to become volunteers, and also distributing those t-shirts, and that will be from 9 to 5 at each of the branches. So that's the big news that's coming up. We're very close to reaching our $10,000 goal for our Back to Books fundraiser. We are $9,352, so we're still waiting for a couple more checks to trickle in, and hopefully we'll meet that goal. And that is about it.
Okay, please tell your volunteers at the fair, we thought the book, that the whole building looked really, really good.
Oh, good.
It was so clean and so organized, and it didn't look like a mess or a jumble. Everything was clearly marked. It really looked good.
Well, you must have been there Thursday.
I mean, maybe I did it on the right day. It looked really, really good.
Oh, good.
And I have my daughter with me, and she's been to many, many book sales there, so she walked in and went, this looks really good.
Well, for the first time, we actually ran out of books.
I'm not
We
surprised
were
that they were-
restocking during the fair. Patrick and I were literally schlepping boxes of books.
Yeah, I'm not surprised the books were all lined
$277
up when we were there, and she was amazed at how many bags they had
Oh,
on the
right.
side for the people to come back and get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were really going to town that day.
Yeah, that's probably why we're getting rid of so many books, is because we do a $5, fill up your bag for $5, and people are always gonna take that $5 bag. Or you could just make a donation on an individual item. And that seems to be working really well, because some people, will give us $20 for one book, just because, and then some guy came back waving a $10 bill after he'd already left, saying, I feel like I ripped you off. I feel like you deserve more. So we're like, sure. So that seems to be good when you leave people up to their own devices of how much they value what they're getting and what they're doing for the library, then they usually don't disappoint us. So we're just plugging along, trying to get donated books processed and volunteers recruited and organized and trained, and hopefully we'll be on our way to some more in-person fundraising with book sales at the branches soon. So we'll keep you posted.
All right, and that brings us to comments from the public. I don't know exactly how public you guys qualify it for. Any comments? Anybody who's online have any comments? If silence is no, and we come up to last, we need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. This is 4:06.